Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Miss Marvel Season 1. Sadly, this series just is not for me. I am very perplexed and everything. I'm just so utterly confused with not only with so much of the direction of this show. The pacing, the direction, the powers, the ending with Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. Of course, I know this is going to tie into the bigger part of the MCU because Miss Marvel is in the Marvels and everything, but I don't understand. It took a good while for me to kind of figure out how exactly this going to connect to the MCU. I think I know. But other than that, I look at this show the same way I look at Moon Knight. What was the point? It just seems pointless. And Moon Knight pissed the crap out of me because I was really looking forward to that. Same way with Hawkeye with Kate Bishop. Only thing about Hawkeye I liked was Kate Bishop. I hated everything else. And these last three Marvel TV shows just really have not done it with me. 6 episodes is not enough time to tell any kind of story, especially that of a superhero story, that's supposed to connect to a bigger universe. And I really, really tried to like this series because, I've never really been a fan of Miss Marvel, the Kamala Khan character, like in the comics and like the animated series and stuff, only because she comes off very annoying and I don't really like the way her powers look. Now they changed her powers for this and I'm like, okay, cool, it looks cool, but it's not consistent and it's not really explained well. And I'm not liking this live action version of Kamala and everything because of a couple of different reasons. One, she's not written well, and two, the actress is not that good at acting because this is really her first major project of anything, and it shows. Everybody in the show can act, but her acting sticks out like a sore thumb, and I have spoke about that before. Now, I do like the actress, and I am rooting for her, and I hope in the future she gets better, but I can't help but point out her acting just isn't on point in this show. It's not good at all. And I've seen so many people defend her, talking about, oh, she's a great actress and all this and that. No, this is just people being a bleeding heart. People who are defending her because they know they're going to be those toxic people who are going to hate her because she's female and hate her because she's not white and everything. So they're defending her in this show left and right. But if you're going to defend somebody, actually defend somebody. Saying somebody can't really act is not that bad. It's happened before. Some people have it, some people don't. This is why you practice harder. And my thing is, she's gonna be in this big blockbuster summer type movie, The Marvels, and her acting is gonna have to get better because she's gonna be in a 2 hour long movie and stuff. And she's gonna be put up against the Rambos, which those two actresses can act. And then there's Brie Larson, who acting is extremely stiff and cannot act. And I've seen Brie in a couple other stuff other than Marvel, and it's just stiff. It's not very good. It's just stiff and stuff, and very bland. Even my friend who's female from college, I used to be friends with in college, even she thinks her acting sucks and stuff. And so, yeah. So when it comes to this show, I watched it and I'm just kind of like, okay. I based it off of certain different things like tone, powers, like story, acting, all this and that. And I'm just not feeling none of this stuff. The pacing is extremely off in this series. And I'm not the only person who feels that. Even people who love this show in the beginning, from reviews I saw, are kind of falling out of love with it towards the middle and stuff. because the pacing is off, and that's the Disney Plus formula. They have weird way of pacing things, but even their stuff can stay a little bit more consistent. This show could not stay consistent to save its life. It tried to cram too much stuff in 20 to 30 minutes, like 6 episodes, and it just did not work. And so you have to stay consistent in tone throughout your entire series for it to be a cohesive unit. And so I knew by the trailers it was going to have this teeny bopper feel, like a Disney Channel thing or a Nickelodeon show. And so I'm not opposed to stuff like that. Like, I like Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion, and yes, that show does its superhero teeny bopper stuff a million times better than Miss Marvel ever did. And so, like, if you was to watch this series, basically it's like this. Episode 1, 2, and 6 are more connected together, and episodes 3, 4, and 5 are connected together. And the tones on those two groups are completely different. You have the teeny bopper goofy stuff in the first group, and then you have the more serious cultural stuff in the second group. And it has to be a blend of both. You just can't have both types in different groups. They need to be blended, and it's not blended. And that's a huge problem I have trying to connect with this show. So the first 2 episodes are kind of like this. The first episode sets off how like obsessed she is with superheroes, and and Captain Marvel is like her favorite. Then, she has this elaborate plan how she's gonna go to like this adventure con thing. And then there's all these like CGI colorful words and lights and graphics and this and that. So like, okay, that's the vibe they're going with. All right, fine. Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion's a similar way with the lights and everything. And they're basically like the Adam West Batman show. When they punch somebody and say pow, it's like those type of graphics. So there's graphics always bopping around the weirdest places. And it has a very teeny bopper vibe. All right, fine. And so, she gains her powers, and it's like a weird mystery why every time she uses her powers, she sees all these people and like a train, and this woman, and all this other crap, right? So then you get into episode 2, and now she's learning how to use her superpowers. All right, that's fine, but I'm still not connecting to the show because I didn't even know who the primary villain is because they really didn't show it. And so then she saves the boy, and she kind of still makes him drop and fall. Then she gets saved by this boy at school, and I think his name is Kamal. I can't really remember, but in the comics they're cousins, and in the comics his mom and him are his family is like evil and whatever. He works for like a gang or something like that, and they're evil. And so then you get the 3rd episode, which I skipped, but I went towards the end, right? Because at that point I just couldn't take this series no more. So then it was like a bunch of stuff with the wedding. The brother and his wife are going to get married, and something happens. And then the evil lady is trying to clan Deathstite people. But I'm still not sure who the world they are. I don't know if they're aliens from another dimension or what. But I know they have superpowers and stuff, and they're not from this world. They're from a different dimension. So in a way, they explain, they want to get home. They need the bangle to get home and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But they have powers, and they'll do whatever it takes to get home. So the boy who she meets, who's her second love interest in the show, he tries to warn her. He helps her fight off his family. And the fight sequence is really terrible. It's just her running away, using her powers as like a shield because she's scared and everything. And the fight scene was very bland. It was kind of like a Netflix Marvel show, but way worse. And I don't know where she got her mask from, but she got it from somewhere. And so then the clandestine people get taken down very easily by the Department of something. I forget their name. But basically it's like this. After so many years of superheroes and villains and aliens and their powers and destroying the world and killing folks, the government has decided it had enough. It has this department that kind of like, oh, you got superpowers? Let us stop you and everything. And so they are our second villains. Yes, she has 2 groups of villains in this thing. And They both suck. These are some terrible villains. Now, the department people, I'm pretty sure the only reason why they're in this MCU is for the X-Men. When the X-Men get brought in, so they can discriminate against mutants. Why? Because in the 6th episode, Bruno tells Kamala that there's some type of mutation going on in your body. And this is the first real time they've ever used that in a Marvel property other than that of Marvel's Runaways. And that was on Hulu. But this is the first time the MCU connected stuff has used that term. So anyways, when her bangle gets hit by like a dagger, she sees like a train, she sees a woman, and then she don't know what's going on. Then this is where the show gets very confusing. At the end of episode 3, her grandma calls her and is like, Kamala, Kamala, I saw the train, and blah, 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 blah. And you have to come to Pakistan, so we have to talk, and blah, 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 blah. So you assume her grandma knows something about the bangle and the powers and the clandestines because her grandma is the one who gave her the bangle, and her mom saw the bangle. Her mom didn't want her to have nothing with it. So it's like, okay, they making it seem like everybody in their family has either like powers or superheroes at one point, and then the mom just doesn't want nothing to do with that because the mom is very against superhero stuff. She's very against her daughter being consumed by like American ideals and superhero stuff and have her heads in the clouds. Her mom's not for that and everything. Her mom wants her to have like a good education and a good job and this and that, right? So they fly to Pakistan in the 4th episode. And this is where the tone and everything shifts. By the 3rd episode, all that teeny bopper stuff and the graphics gone. And you won't see the graphics come back until the teeny bopper stuff until the 6th episode. So now on the 4th episode, she goes to Pakistan, and this is supposed to be like more of like a cultural thing, and stuff like that, and talking about how like they was under like British like occupation rule and stuff like that, and she's supposed to learn more about her great grandmother and stuff. And because see, the thing about this is that there's some type of scandal going on with her great grandmother, something that she did her mom does not like and does not want her to talk about. Supposedly she killed the man. I forget what this term is used during the occupation thing that they have during the British rule. It's called something, I forgot. See, that's the thing. These 3 episodes, 3, 4, and 5, are supposed to teach us about like Indian and Pakistan cultures and stuff like that. And I learned a little bit, which is cool, but I forget what they teach us because it goes by so fast. And now we're introduced halfway into the series with brand new characters and everything. So Bruno and her best friend at school and the boy who turned to his family and stuff like that, they're all in America, and now we're in Pakistan with a bunch of new characters. And what exactly does her grandma tell her? Absolutely nothing. But they set it up like her grandmother knew something. They set it up like her mom knew something, and they don't know nothing. So basically the mom and the grandma are just arguing about, oh, we want you to come to America. No, I'll never leave my home and blah, 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 blah. And she's all like, what great grandma or no, what grandma put us through was this, and that, and we had to leave, and then something else, and so it's like, what the world happened? So then in the whole Pakistan adventure, she meets this new group of people who know about the bango and know about the clandestines and this and that from the comics. And it's another love interest for her. So now she has 3 and everything. And she doesn't get with like none of them. But then she goes for the bad boy towards the end and stuff. And so then we started to learn a little bit more about the powers and the bangles, but I really wasn't paying attention that much. 'Cause I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. And then one reviewer pointed out that she started to look a little bit like Kate Bishop with her hair in a ponytail in episode 4. And she did. And that's kind of weird and stuff. And so now when the clandestine people, they escaped, they're now in Pakistan really fast. And now they're chasing her and everything. So it's another chase. All she does is run from people and stuff. And she's still not doing no superhero type stuff. And she still doesn't know how to use her powers that well. And so it's like an awkward, weird chase all throughout the town, and all this other crap. And then they kill the dude who's trying to explain the powers to her and stuff. And so then it's just so weird because it's just a chase. And while she's being chased, she's not wearing her makeshift Halloween costume she bought. She's just wearing a mask and her regular clothes, so people don't know who she is. Then towards the end, something happens and she time travels. Yes. So then now in the 5th episode, which was actually a pretty pleasant episode, but it explains a slight more of her great grandmother. Basically, it's like this. Throughout the entire episode, we don't see Kamala really in the past. First we see her on a train, trying to leave India or something like that. Or trying to leave somewhere. They're on the train going somewhere. God, what was it called? I forgot. So I'm not at the computer right now, and it's like 3 in the morning or something like that. Or is it almost close to 4? Anyway, so then we see her great grandmother, and her great grandmother is running from like a British man, a guard, and he's like, "Stop or I'll shoot." So she turns around, she throws a knife at him and kills him. So that's the guy she killed. What happened before that? Hey, I don't know. And so like then she sneaks on this man's land, and he allows her to come in. They fall in love, they have a kid. Then all of a sudden it's the evil lady and everything from the past and everything, because she's been there and stuff. And she tells her, like, don't you want to go back home and everything? Where's the bangle? Because I guess Kamala's a clandestine, and so is her great grandmother and all them and stuff. So that's what that weird mutation is in their genes. So she lies to the lady and tells her she hid it for safekeeping. She tried to escape, but the lady found her and stabbed her. So then we see Kamala finally show up towards the end of the episode in the past, and she sees her grandmother as a little child, and she's using her powers to get her to her great grandfather, but she's still not used to using her powers very well, and she drops her kind of, because people are like bumping into her and stuff. Then she gets teleported back to the present. Okay. Then here come the bad guys. When she came out to the present, the veil is open to the dimension. One bad guy tries to go in and it burns their skin to ash and they die. So you think the villains would be smart enough not to try it again. Nope. The main villain decides she's gonna do it and talking about, like, she's doing this and for her son and blah, blah. So she goes in, she dies like an idiot because she has dumb villains. And then somehow the power went into her son all the way in America. Now, when this happens, I'll get to that later. So then, of course, her mom sees, oh, look, you have purple, or you have light powers, and you're that light girl and everything. Now, all of a sudden, her mom loves the idea of her being a superhero and loves the idea of her daughter doing this and that, after her mom hates superheroes. So now the tone has shifted with her mom out of like nowhere and stuff. And not only that, but the light girl didn't even really save that boy. She still dropped him and stuff. And so it's kind of like, it just changes so fast in tone. And then she sees that her necklace broke and it's in that little lightning bolt shape. And that's where, the symbol on her costume comes from. But in the comics, it comes from the first Miss Marvel, who later comes to Captain Marvel and stuff. So in a way, we in America, and it's Bruno, and it's the dude, the bad guy's son, with his powers, and he's acting weird. I'm like, okay, is he possessed by like an alien or something like that, or a spirit? But no, he just tells Bruno, I need to hide, the department people after me. Then a drone comes in, he blasts it with his powers, because now he realized, oh, look, I have powers and stuff. But then there's a huge explosion in the apartment building. Now, one, I've always wondered something. Bruno's parents are dead. Who the world does he live with? Like, how is he emancipated? So anyway, so then all of a sudden in the last 6 episodes, I'm trying to say tone, but I'm about to say change and put those two together. The tone have shifted again. Now it's back to the teeny bopper stuff, like a Disney Channel show with the graphics and stuff. And it's like, oh, that came back. So now you're back to this. So what type of show do you want? You want something serious and cultural? Or do you want something teeny boppery and stuff? And so I'm assuming Bruno and Dude is dead, but nope. Somehow they survived that explosion. Doesn't show how they survived it, but they survived it. They're on a train, they're being chased, so then they go to a mosque to hide out. Now this doesn't make no sense. Traveling from one country to another must happen in the blink of an eye when you're on a jet, because like the explosion happened that night. They're in the mosque in the morning. Kamala is already back in America with her family. How did she get back so fast? And so her friend, that one girl who now knows Kamala is like, is the light girl, the superhero person, she calls Kamala up and is all like, oh, Bruno is in trouble and blah, 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 blah. So this is what's so weird. Her mom's all like, okay, if you're gonna go out and do your superhero thing, you're gonna need a costume. So then her mom's like, listen to what her mom said. Listen now. Her mom said, I ordered you this. She didn't say she ordered the material and sold it up. She said she ordered her this. And what is it? A costume. What is it? Her costume from the comics. And so I'm just kind of like, well, if she ordered it through the mail online, then who originally had that costume that's a superhero in that series? Because nobody else has that exact costume. So she puts it on and she goes and she does her thing. And she's using, and now all of a sudden she's using her powers like an ace. 5 episodes, she didn't know how to use her powers that well, and now all of a sudden she's using them and being angelic and everything like that, and acrobatic and everything. And it's just kind of like, well, that happened really fast. Like, now you learn how to use your power. Oh, by the way, the dude who's in Pakistan, who the third love interest, he shows up in the phone call. So all those people don't matter no more, and neither does her grandmother and stuff. So then she finds Bruno and them, and then they go, and the department people, man, they are racist and evil. So now she has to deal with them. But now they're in the high school hiding out. So what happens? Teeny bopper stuff. They call up the other friends, the one girl who ran for student body president, and they call up a girl we ain't seen since episode 2. This is a girl who's just at her high school, some random popular girl who barely knows Kamala is alive. And this is the girl that when Kamala first got her power, she calls that giant chaos that happened, and then she eventually saved that girl. But the girl knew all along Kamala had powers, but just never said nothing. I mean, how could she not know? I mean, she was standing right next to her and stuff. And so they call her to help. Why the world if I know? So then it goes back to that teeny bopper elaborate plan and everything, where Kamala's all like, okay, look, we're gonna do this, this, and that, and we're gonna do it like that. Then all of a sudden her brother just shows up out of nowhere at the school, and it's supposed to be a hee hee ha ha moment, but I'm tired of that Disney Marvel baby humor. And so the elaborate plan, which is basically as a Home Alone as it can get, a bunch of teenagers are able to take out an entire army of like super agent people. I kid you not. A bunch of teenagers riding bicycles, using fire extinguishers and softballs and goopy goop that looks like giant marshmallows and stuff. They took out soldiers who have like sci-fi like gun type things that shoots out sound waves that can blow stuff up and everything. They took those dudes out like that. It's so simple. And it's not even really Kamala taking them out. So her first set of villains, they killed themselves. Her second group of villains, teenagers, took them out until they get their butts kicked, and then they all get arrested. But then it's Kamala and the dude with the powers. Now all of a sudden he just wants to turn evil and everything and wants to kill everybody. So he trying to kill the department people left and right. And Kamala has to now stop him. Once again, it is another Marvel villain who has the same power set as the Marvel hero. But oh, first they hold hands and it's a glowing light and they finna kiss until they are stopped by Bruno. And then he sacrifices himself to, like, save them and stuff. But then that with dude, he's literally using his powers, and now he knows how to use them. A couple of hours, and now he learned how to use them way faster than her. And he just starts trying to murder everybody. And here she is trying to stop him, but it's not like a superhero like Duke out. No, she just confines him in a force field, and then she helps him escape. Because he's all like, "I'll never be normal," blah 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 blah, and nigga. It's like, dude, you're trying to murder people. You're past normal now, And it's just like she helps him escape. She digs a hole in the ground and he goes down in there. And then after that, no, not only that, but the teens, their friends who fighting the department people, they realized they're gonna need some backup, so they called everybody in town to gather around and swarm Kamala, as she's like, about to be taken in by the department people. And I'm just kind of like, this sucks, man. Not only do I not get a superhero Duke out, but like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is so inconsistent. And so then the teens say goodbye because Bruno's going to MIT. This is when he tells Kamala, you have a mutation in you. She's not a mutant. She's an inhuman from the comic books, but they can't use that because Kevin Feige hates that one dude. And so then she talks to her dad a little bit, and she talks to her mom, and then all of a sudden the ending makes no sense. She's in her room, she has her bangle on, she has her Captain Marvel costume on, and then her bangle glows, and then she gets kind of twisted and contorted, and then she goes into the closet, and when she comes out, she's Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, but wearing a completely different costume. Not even the one from the MCU. It's like a cheaper version from the comic. And I don't know if she is Carol or if she's Kamala, but has transformed to look like what's her face. And so I'm so confused. The ending's just... Oh, this series is, in my opinion, just not that good. It's too inconsistent. The tone is all over the place. And the writing is just like, because now, once again, everybody knows, almost everybody knows her secret again. Like, when she was fighting, like, the department people, every time she was running in out the high school, she kept taking her mask off and everything. And that's such a Marvel thing to do. And, if you like this series, good for you, but check yourself into Arkham Asylum and stuff, because, come on, man. Like, I'm so tired of everybody talking about this is the best Disney Plus series ever, the best superhero series ever, the best this and that. No, like, I believe some people do believe that. I do feel some people believe that. But the other people, I feel like, are just saying that because they know those, like, internet trolls are going to come after this series hard, and they have already. So they're just defending something that really does not need defending because it's not that great. And if you think I'm being mean, like, have you not seen my Moon Knight like thing? I hated that series. I was so heartbroken over that series. I was so heartbroken over the Hawkeye series and stuff, And it's just like, I want this stuff to succeed, but it's so hard when they try their best not to make it succeed. I mean, look at freaking the dude who made Thor: Love and Thunder, Waititi. Taika Waititi. He even said he was gonna make a movie that nobody was gonna like. Dude, why would you purposely do that? Then he made fun of his VFX team, and we just saw now they're working their fingers to the bone trying to make Marvel happy, and it's not working and stuff. And then this is the thing about her powers that don't make no sense. They spent 5 episodes trying to explain her powers. So I guess that's the point of the series, trying to explain her powers in this whole Jinn thing, but I still don't know what that is. And I don't even think they explained it that well. And I'm not about to look it up online. They wasn't going to explain it all that well. And her powers don't make no sense. Like, okay, I get it. They didn't want her to have stretching powers because it's too much like Mr. Fantastic. Whatever. So they gave her a new power set that's slightly similar to that of Green Lantern, the Invisible Woman. Basically, she can make light construct disc that she can like jump and walk on, right? Okay, fine. But it don't explain, and she'll also make force fields. She just makes the disc turn vertical and make it really bigger as opposed to being smaller. Okay, fine. That's her power set. But it don't explain how or why she uses her powers to make her hands stretch really long. That don't make no sense. If you can make this, and that's the main thing you made, why all of a sudden making your hands long? And then in the last episode in the fight scene, not only did she make her hands long, but she made her legs long too to give her this stretchy look. And the question is, why? That don't make no sense. Like no superhero she knows has that power. Captain Marvel doesn't have that power. The other clandestines, they don't have that power. Nobody in India, no, Pakistan has that power. So why suddenly is she using her powers, her making her legs and arms stretch? It's only because of the comics. So they gave her that visual look of the comics, but with her new powers. But it don't make no sense because her power set doesn't really do that, and like it just makes this and bridges and stuff. So why in the world is she using it to stretch? And this is what I'm talking about when I say the tone is inconsistent. It makes no sense. And so somehow her bangle and her powers are somehow going to be tied to the MCU. I don't know how. Since it has the ability to time travel, maybe Kane the Conqueror will use it. I don't know. And then I still don't understand that whole ending with the Captain Marvel thing. Like I really don't understand that like at all. Is that Kamala or is that the real thing? And if so, once again, I don't understand why the MCU Disney Plus show suits are so cheap. But then the moment they go into the movies, they're back to that high quality look and stuff. That just don't make no sense if they're all the same studio property and stuff. So I'm just not a fan of this show. I think the tone is inconsistent. If you're gonna do the teeny bopper thing, do it throughout the entire series. Just don't do it for the like 3 episodes and the other 3 gonna be like a cultural like Marvel show. I don't understand her powers. I don't understand the writing. I don't understand the pacing. And the actress needs to go to acting school or get a better tutor. Like, I don't like calling out her acting and stuff, but it's apparently not there. You know what I'm saying? And I said this before. I've seen interviews with her, and she seems like a very lovely person. She seems cool. But when you see these interviews with her, she's talking in the same tone and mannerism as she is when she is acting. So she's basically being herself. And then for like emotional scenes where she's supposed to cry, it's not believable because she's overdoing it because she's inexperienced and everything. And it really doesn't look like good acting. And I'm tired of everybody saying she's a great actress when she is not. And, you can call out somebody's acting and everything, but, that's nothing wrong with that. That's just being honestly real. I've done that before with other people in the past. Some people have it, some people don't. You know what I'm saying? And she needs to learn because when I watch the Miss Marvel's movies, because bad acting brings things down. You can say you have a show that's like mediocre, and then the acting is really bad. You're not gonna continue to watch it. That's one reason why I stopped and stuff. And I only watched it again because I was curious and I had to get it off my Disney Plus thing. Because if you don't watch it, then it just stays on your continue to watch thing. So yeah, I really did want to like this show, but I just couldn't get into it. Like I just couldn't. And it's like I just couldn't. I literally just couldn't get into this, and I really tried. I really did. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.